Welcome back to Fox College Football, sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. You see all the fireworks in the sky here in Ames, and guess what? There were more during the week for Iowa State, Texas. Allison Williams.
That's right, Jason. Plenty of fireworks, plenty of emotion, because there's plenty on the line for both of these teams as they're trying to play their way into the Big 12 title game. Texas trying to do so in their final season in the conference. Cyclones offensive lineman Jared Hufford said, "We want to give them one heck of a farewell present in the dark on senior night," and he did not hold back about how he feels about the Longhorns, saying Texas gets all the five-star recruits, has all the nicest stuff in the world, and they just don't think they stink. They're people that have such a high ego that needs to be checked. Well, as you can imagine, that made the rounds in the Longhorns locker room real quick. I asked Jalen Ford and Tavondre Sweat about the comments. Their expressions said it all. Eyes narrowed, half a smirk. Ford said, "All I'm going to say is go ahead, add that fuel to the fire." Sweat with the shrug said, "We'll see you Saturday night at 7 o'clock.
Brock Heward, you know how this goes. Let's get a little more amped, huh?
Senior night, blackout. This is the essence of college football in November. These fans are wired, the players are wired. Let's go.
Through the haze of the fireworks, the kickoff into the end zone, and Texas will have it first. Quinn Ewers back from the AC joint injury in his shoulder last week. He missed 2, a touchdown, a pick. Most of his damage through the air last week, Brock, against TCU.
Yeah, an injury that gets better with time. And last week he was sore. He overcompensated. You watched it on tape. He's throwing his shoulder, his hip, trying to get everything in his body into the throw instead of just the easy, free motion that he has. I like this. Spreading it out right away. A little game of pitch and catch.
Because, in part, they're without Jonathan Brooks, who tore his ACL last week, and this one goes flailing out wide and incomplete. So Quinn Ewers behind a starting offensive line that has been together the entire season. As starters, they returned all 5, and the young guy on the left side, Kelvin Banks Jr., is outstanding.
Absolute stud. Will be the highest drafted guy next year when he comes back after his junior year, just a sophomore. Baxter, well, he is a true freshman. And talking to Sark on the field before the game, about 2/3 of the carries should go number 4's way.
There he is in motion, C.J. Baxter, who started the first couple games of the season for Texas before Brooks took over. And C.J. Baxter is belted and dropped. Tyler Onyedem with the hit. He is a great pass rusher there in run support. Joey Peterson, the defensive end, a junior from the state of Iowa. This game means a great deal to him. He's an Iowa State legacy player. Gary Vaughn's in his 61st college football game. It is his senior night. And Bo Freeler, who got high praise, very high praise, the Brock Purdy of the defense, said his coaches. Quinn Ewers to throw. That's over the middle. It's a catch for Adonai Mitchell, and the touchdown maker has another big catch for the Texas Longhorns. He finished the game last week.
Huge, because you get in those situations against this defense, you don't convert many times, but Mitchell has used that frame. Used it in contested situations, 9 touchdowns, but that, a huge 3rd down conversion.
Iowa State is the best 3rd and long defense in the Big 12 this year. Ewers over the middle, the great tight end Jatavion Sanders, his first grab.
3 out of 4 through the air, not a surprise. I feel like the speed and the strength, the overall athleticism of this crew, getting these Cyclones in space. Don't play in a phone booth, because it will be advantage Iowa State. Then they will still run it, and they're going to want to pound the football, but I like this. Get it spread out first. And nice to see the big tight end Sanders get it going as well.
Will this be the first running play for C.J. Baxter? Couple of tight ends in there. It's Ewers again, flowing to the right and throwing to his right. That's low and incomplete for a sliding Xavier Worthy. Take a look at our keys to the game, sponsored by Google Pixel, the only phone engineered by Google.
On the point of attack, especially defensively. We showed Sweat earlier. He's 360-pound mountain of a man, but that offensive line is huge. The smallest is Majors at center at 6'5" and 315. And then Iowa State's got to win in the margins. That's penalties, that's kickoff return yards, all the little things.
It's a 2nd down throw after the incompletion, and it's juggled and put on the ground by Worthy. It's incomplete. They'll blow it dead. That's an incomplete pass instead of a runaway for Cooper.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever control here. Just a one-on-one to the field, a little curl route. But these corners are physical. This whole defense is physical. They're the #1 total defense in the Big 12. Not a surprise with Matt Campbell and John Haycock. But when you're playing purchase in that case, or TJ Tampa on the other side, you better make sure you're physical with your body and your hands.
Sark said to us beginning of the year, third downs, red zone. They haven't been great so far this year. A couple of reasons. Ewer's been out a little bit. This is a huge third down early in this game. Ewers to Baxter. It's lit up and in the air, and that ends up on the ground. So C.J. Baxter on top of it. That was Bo Freeler with the massive dislodge.
Freeler's the leading tackler. You can see the shoulder wrap. He don't care. He's also the free hitter in this scheme. The safety that's usually free in the run game, and in this case, he's got to contain the speedy true freshman, and he doesn't stop. There's certain guys, Jason, that stop and wrap. A lot of these Cyclones, and Freeler in particular, run right through contact.
He swept the leg while he was at it. That was Freeler on the hoof on C.J. Baxter. And Rocco Becht, who has gotten more and more comfortable and more accurate as the season has worn on.
Yeah, we saw him early, right? Did a nice job in the opener, very conservative plan, and then we saw him against Iowa. Well, it turns out Iowa's a heck of a defense. But the following week against Ohio, he was sick, and at halftime, he was throwing up. And it was then and there that Nate Shieldhouse and Coach Campbell said that's when he won this team over. No excuse, went back, went to work, continued to fight, and each and every week since, Jason, has just gotten better and better and better.
The only one half he really wants back is the first half against Kansas. Their only loss in this string, and that is incomplete. It's off the hands of the freshman tight end, Ben Bramer, out of the state of Nebraska. So on the offensive line, Brendan Black got inserted right after that Ohio game and sort of changed the grit of this offensive line.
One of 15 true freshmen that plays, one of 3 that starts. Nola out there, receiver, you'll see him everywhere. He'll be inside, he'll be outside, he'll run the ball. He is the difference maker in this scheme.
A truly impressive, well-rounded young man that's in motion right there on a 2nd and 10. It's a handoff, and it gets about 5. That's a run for Eli Sanders. We'll see 3 running backs likely for Iowa State tonight. You mentioned T'Vondre Sweat. He's how big, Brock?
Well, I said on my board, you're 325, and he looked at me very upset because he's every bit of 360 plus, and he moves. He covers up for Jalen Ford, the leading tackler, the All-American a season ago, and nice to see Catalan back. He's been out in the back end of that secondary, but they'll play a lot of people. They'll play a whole second wave of Longhorns, a big reason why they're 9-1 right now.
Michael Taff is in there right now. He's creeping up to about the 20-yard line against a very good third down defense, and that deflection ends up forcing an incompletion. That was T'Vondre Sweat.
Oh, that was Sweat on Hufford right here. Those 2 that Allison talked about in the open. Just 2 grizzly bears, and they love them all. And they don't apologize for who they are and how physical they are. And Sweat, well, he's done a lot of that this year. He's also got a bunch of tackles and tackles for loss. Has played tremendous football this season.
To be clear, you said 325. He said 3 what? To you? And he's very right. He's so fun to watch, fun to talk to. Tyler Perkins to punt it away, and he's going to be big tonight. That is a boomer by Perkins all the way back to the 32. It's a 52-yard punt, and field position so big for this Iowa State team trying to pull off an upset against Texas once again. Ewers in the O after this for Texas. Fox College Football is sponsored by Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve. And by Zales, the Diamond Store. Love real. You mentioned off the top, John Haycock, defensive coordinator, said to us this is the most rewarding year of his 40 years coaching. It started in '83. This is the most rewarding year he's had.
It's because of these seniors and the freshmen, the group of players for Matt and John that have just given him life through all the adversity. This Coach Haycock that broke down with us yesterday emotionally saying, they have given me life back in my coaching. Special, special group.
It's a first down run for the Texas Longhorns, and C.J. Baxter pinballing for a first down, Allison.
Yeah, and Haycock told us through the chaos of the offseason, the adversity of this year, the entire group really sank into what the seniors demanded, and they pulled everyone together, including that coaching staff. He said it just made us all want to work so much harder because we want to do right by this group because they have given us so much.
It was once a week, every week. John Haycock had the seniors for about 5 months, well before the season started, to keep them together, to talk to them, to inspire, to discuss. And boy, is this a together group. Pressure from Onyedem, and Ewers goes down. Joey Peterson got home. It's a loss of 9.
Just a half a sack through 10 games for Peterson coming into this one. Just a 3-man rush. And Quinn Ewers has plenty of time, but he's going to look back at 8 different defenders looking at him in zone. And this is what I'm going to be curious of, Jason. When we saw Quinn Ewers earlier this year, he ran. He gouged people with his legs. 3rd down conversions, 5 touchdown runs. Coming off that AC joint injury, will he be willing to run against this crew tonight?
And can they win if he doesn't? Second down, 19. It's Baxter hopping through with some burst. Down to the 44-yard line. Malik Verdon with the stop, and 3rd and long coming.
These 2 runs, you see why he was a 5-star. Why he started the first 2 games actually ahead of Jonathan Brooks. He is smooth. But once again, we are looking at a 3rd and extra long. These are positions against this crowd on a blackout at night you do not want to be in.
Thirteen conversions all year against him, 3rd and 7+. It's not a big blitzing team, Iowa State. They do come, and they do get there. Onyedem was in there once again with Gary Vaughn.
It's not a blitzing team, but watch this pocket just get punctured and collapse around Quinn Ewers. Onyedem has been active. Vaughn, as you said, playing his 61st game, the biggest hug, the last senior to be announced with Matt Campbell, and Iowa State showing you why on 3rd down and extra long, they are potent.
You think back to that Ohio game, they lost 10-7. And Matt Campbell said he even felt like he was playing a little bit not to lose. This team puts the ball on the ground right there. It's on the deck. Their turnover margin's been so good this year, and they do get on top of it. Jalen Knoll collapses on the football. Oh, boy. Iowa State has made a lot of bank by not turning it over this year. They're +9 turnover margin, and they dodged one that time.
Heisman candidate Bo Nix leads 6th-ranked Oregon against rival Oregon State. It all kicks off Black Friday at 8:30 Eastern on Fox.
All right, so how does Iowa State do this with Matt Campbell tonight?
He's done it 3 times, knocking off top 10 teams in this building. Possessive football, 1 time of possession in all of those, nearly 35 minutes. Situationally special, 3rd down, red zone. It's got to win those. Be penalty positive. I talked about earlier winning the margins, and then an old Pete Carroll 101. Number of rushing attempts plus pass completions. You win those 4 areas as he's done in those other top 10 takedowns, you win tonight.
Here's a run on 1st down. It's Eli Sanders. You did the research here. The numbers are stark in all those categories, those wins.
Won every one of them, but he didn't have to block a 365-pound madman. A dancing bear who just is the Energizer Bunny. We watched him all warm-ups. He had a medallion that you worn around your neck.
Yeah.
You couldn't stand upright.
No, I'd have fallen out of the booth.
Yes, and he just got after the true freshman right guard. Yeah, he'll play over the top of Hufford, but they will move him around, and when he is on, this defense is on.
Second down, Rocco Beck sees pressure, throws it. Dimitri Stanley, and he's got a 1st down for Iowa State, gain of 12.
Is that a no look?
Looked like it.
Did Rocco Beck, the redshirt freshman, just go a little? I think he went a little no look here as he found a little pivot route, a little spot route. Looked like he was looking to the swing and hit the spot.
Guy breaks it down and throws incomplete.
Smart. That's a good throwaway.
Talking to Nate Shieldhouse, the offensive coordinator for Iowa State, he said, look, at that Kansas game, the one that we talked about him wanting back, I didn't give him enough gimmies early on. Now you're 2nd and 10. What do those gimmies look like?
Well, he tried on the very first play of the game with a little slant, right? Just off the hands of Bramer, just couldn't connect that one on 1st down. Or 2nd down and short, excuse me, just a little swing, a little spot. Goes 5 and underneath just to get into rhythm.
It's a run on 2nd and 10, and Eli Sanders is dumped after a gain of 2.
You love calling baseball, and congrats on the new gig.
Okay.
But it looks like Sweat is down.
Oh boy, T'Vondre Sweat is injured for the Texas Longhorns. 5th season for the Longhorns north of Houston, and he is such the heart of this middle of the defense.
He just slips, he loses his footing. This field is slick, and you can see him holding his head as the runner just came in. It looked like he hit the back of his head with full force.
Here it is again. Just kind of got caught up in the wash there. We'll check on T'Vondre Sweat when we come back. So T'Vondre Sweat walked off to the sideline as we stepped aside. And we'll see if he comes back. That's Carson Hansen in as the tailback, the freshman for Iowa State. Vernon Broughton has checked in on the defensive line for T'Vondre Sweat. And Rocco Beck loads up a deep shot down the sideline, incomplete. But a marker in. Higgins was belted by, it looked like Ryan Watts on the coverage. Penalty positive, you said.
Yep.
Pass interference, number 6, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Kind of like a strike zone in baseball, Jason. You want to see how these guys are going to call it. Are they going to let him play? That's Watts on the outside, using the 12th defender, using that boundary. But a lot of contact, a lot of hand fighting. And I think that shot maybe to the face didn't help as well. A good job by Watts to leverage, and Higgins got to fight to try to stay and give more room to Rocco. But keep an eye on that, on the perimeter, how they're going to call those pass interference plays.
Texas fans might be saying that was uncatchable, but there was a lot of contact, and so it's a run for Abu Sama III, who had a breakout game last week against BYU. A very talented freshman who is tremendous after contact.
Powerful, man. State long jump champ. Just got a different kind of explosion. One of many freshmen that are playing that, again, have energized seniors, have energized coaches. And his 50-plus runs, 2 of them on the season. First 100-yard game of his career won't be his last.
He's out. Cartavius Norton is in. It's a gain of 2. And Iowa State, which had the ball only for 53 seconds on its first touch, now has a sustained drive here. Becht, that's a slant, and it's Higgins on the catch for a 1st down.
Run the go route earlier. Here's just, again, one of your little gimmies, right? Just football 101, just a little slant route to your right. You're going to see Becht do a nice job of putting it on the frame of his big receiver. You know, I had mentioned before Sweat went down, Jason, you love baseball, and they call this in baseball pitching backwards, and there he is. Nice to see T'Vondre back in. But Nate Shieldhouse, first-year coordinator, knows he's got to pitch a little backwards. Cannot just be first down run and be conservative. A lot of first down pass here early for a reason.
Yeah, he does not want to be in 3rd and long against Texas. This is a draw, and it's Cartavius Norton creating some space. It's a gain of about 3, and T'Vondre Sweat back in the game, Brock.
Well, just juice, man. There was that medallion. Here was the 3rd down knockdown, but he just gets everybody going, man. He loves to play this game, and it's impossible to move. The only way you handle Sweat in the way that Oklahoma did in their rivalry game was keep him on the field. Do not sub. Play with a little bit of tempo, which you will see the Cyclones mix in as well. Because if he's 3 plays and out, you as an offense are going to be 3 plays and out.
We asked him yesterday, when did you really grow into this body? He said, I was always bigger than everybody I played against for my entire life. Becht, another slant, other side. It's Higgins once more, and he's been huge on this drive. 1st down.
Ooh, he got that corner just backwards here. Look at the big receiver just get right on the toes of Terrence Brooks right there and just turn him around. Used his frame on the go route, now back-to-back slants. And you kind of start to feel the confidence of Rocco. He is a rhythm quarterback, and he knows how to use Higgins on the outside.
And what a correction by Nate Shieldhouse, as he told us he was going to get him some guineas early. This is the 9th play of the drive for Iowa State. It's back down the middle, a little bit behind his target, and Jalen Knoll didn't really have a chance. And Rocco knows it.
He does. That is a run-pass option. Everybody up front is a run play. He held on that fake just a second long, and that's why it was a little late. That RPO you want to give, you want to read. There's a lot going on really quickly. But ultimately just hung on that fake just a little bit too late, and the window closed with the pass behind.
Rolling and throwing near side. Oh, what hands on the sideline. That is an amazing grab by Daniel Jackson.
He's kind of the quiet one. It's a lot of Higgins, a lot of Knoll, and then every time you look up, 2 or 3 of these a game. Just a veteran player, a 4th-year player, tiptoes perfectly on the sidelines. And instead of 3rd and 10, a much, much more manageable 3rd and 3.
The ruling on the field is a completed catch. 3rd down.
There's your ruling. For Daniel Jackson, here's a young man who got into a massive car accident in 2020. I mean, a massive car accident. There was some question about whether or not he would be able to play football again, and what a comeback story he is for Iowa State.
Here's one of those situations, not just 3rd down, situationally special. You have to score touchdowns. No easy task. Number 1 in the country are the Longhorns. Defensively.
Ooh, was he out of bounds before he then came back in?
The ruling in the field is the previous play is under further review.
Yeah, the near side official, you see, took off the hat. And so you wonder what happened to that.
Well, he would have to be forced out of bounds. To not see him forced out of bounds, he was out of bounds, and then he's got to come back and reestablish himself. Don't think he does that.
Dean Blandino is with us, our rules expert. Dean, what did you see there?
Yeah, heads up, stop by replay. The receiver went out on his own. He did reestablish. You see a great look here. Left foot's out of bounds. He reestablishes with another body part, but he's the first to touch. He can't be the first to touch. That's an illegal touch, and basically it's a loss of down at the previous spot. So this will end up going back to being a 3rd and 10.
Dean, thank you. And we saw Stephen Hyman, the side judge there, take the hat off, which signals that he was out of bounds.
And kudos to the replay booth, who are right next to us as it's situated here in the stadium. That's all good. That's beautiful, right? That is ballerina stuff. But it's the awareness right before that of knowing where you are on the boundary. And again, against a Texas defense that is 1st in the Big 12 in red zone defense, 3rd in the country in red zone touchdowns allowed. 3rd and 3, much more favorable than I think what we're looking at here after the penalty of 3rd and extra long. Fun for us, right, Jason? We saw both of these teams week 1 and 2.
Yep.
And to see the story arc of both of them here late November.
After further review, the runner went out of bounds on his own, came back in, and was the first to touch the pass. That's a foul for illegal touching of a pass, results in a loss of down at the previous spot. It will be 3rd down at the 21-yard line. The clock will start on my signal.
That's the right call. Yep. Well done, well analyzed by Dean. I still agree with Dean on the targeting call from our big noon game, but you know what? We don't hold grudges like that. That Iowa State fan is not thrilled. So it's going to be 3rd and 10. And again, this has been a tough game for Texas. They've lost 3 of the last 4 of these.
Correction, the runner was out of bounds when touching the pass.
You're good.
We're fine. It was right.
The clock will start in the snap.
Any more red tape that you'd like to take care of, Brock?
Nope.
We good?
Here we go.
All right, 3rd down and 10.
Don't take a sack.
Field goals could be important in this game. Changing the play here. Beck giving ground, stepping up, and he does take a sack. Byron Murphy finished the deal, and it's a longer kick for Contreras at Iowa State on a loss of 6.
Well, you saw Michigan do this so well. You mentioned that big noon game. You're going to just see a TE stunt. An excellent job by Burke to come around here and collapse the pocket, and then the effort and the energy. That is just the 10th sack of Rocco Beck this season. They've done an extraordinary job of protecting field position. Now you made it a little bit tougher on Mr. Contreras.
He has made 11 straight. He's 18 for 22 this year. The transfer from Nebraska. It is on the way, and it is good. Kickers have senior nights too. Chase Contreras labels another one, and Iowa State has the early lead. Fox College Football is sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 150 years, and by Honda, the power of dreams. Close games through and through. The last 4, 3 have gone to Iowa State, and this will not surprise you considering those scores. The first ever meeting was back in the 70s. Iowa State was a 3-score underdog, and they played to an 8-point game. That was sort of the harbinger for what this series would become as Texas leaves for the SEC after this year. Keelan Robinson wants to return it instead of take it at the 25, and that's a -6. All right, so 15-5 in favor of the Texas Longhorns, but that institutional knowledge, some of these guys on the sideline know how to beat Texas for Iowa State.
Yes, and just Iowa State's style, the way that they're going to play. Texas is like that guy that's got the driver that can hit a 350, and Iowa State hits a 250, but they're in the fairway again and again and again. And because of it, in match play, you're going to go down the last couple holes, and that's exactly what it's been, 3 of the last 4. By the looks of this first quarter, he may be in store for the same tonight.
Fourth first down pass tonight for Texas, and that does get to the wide side on the first catch for Xavier Worthy for Texas.
And that is just a deep 15-yard comeback, just like they do at the NFL level. And you're going to see just a nice motion here. 15 yards, get actually more of a deep out comeback, and that's one of those throws. You look at Quinn Ewer's AC joint on that shoulder. How you feeling? Because Worthy's going to get out there. He's going to create space and separation. Philo to get it there.
These receivers are so good after the catch as well. That's Baxter. What are you seeing mechanically so far from Ewers?
A little bit of what we did a week ago, to be honest with you. He's not 100%, and he's probably not going to be 100% the rest of the year when you have a separated shoulder as he did. But he wants to play. He's sick of sitting on the sidelines.
Texas has college football playoff hopes. There's a flag that has come in right in the middle of the offensive line for Texas.
Holding, number 52, offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay second down.
This is just what they do. I mean, this is just what Iowa State and their style is all about. And you can see right here, I mean, just you can't get outside the frame. You're going to get called. There's actually Campbell inside as well. Both of them, keep your hands inside. Because how Iowa State plays defense, Jason, is they say you can't do it 10 or 12 clean plays. You want to throw a hitch? You want to run for 4? Okay. Can you do it over and over and over and over again for an extended period without a negative play? They bank on you not being able to, and they bank on it well.
Jaden Blue is in the tailback with the catch there. Iowa State has allowed 4 touchdown drives all year of 4 plays or fewer.
That's right, 4. Keep it all in front of you. Eyes in the backfield. Blitz only about 18% of the time, and oh, well, looky what we have again, a 3rd and 10.
Ewers on third down. Got to get to the 46, and this is nearly intercepted. My, oh my, Malik Verdon nearly had his third pick of the year and the 16th for the Cyclones.
This is just tremendous awareness. He's going to be out here on the big tight end, but watch his eyes. Receiver releases inside. He's got eyes to the quarterback. Vision to the quarterback. That's what elite zone defenses do, and that's what John Haycock's crew has developed in here. You can see it right there. Yeah, I knocked it down. Next time you throw it my way, it might just be our 16th interception of the season.
Ryan Sanborn with the kick. And this will go rolling and rolling and rolling and nearly magnetized itself to Jalen Knoll. Iowa State's got a long way to go off a 54-yard punt. You talked about the upsets and the anatomy of these upsets. This was the one that really gave them the boost of confidence early in his tenure.
Huge. That one on the road, these others at home against TCU in a hard-fought game where they won that time of possession big time, and they just wore them down against a West Virginia where they really blew their doors off, and you just started to see that, yeah, this isn't just a nice story up in Ames. This is a team that could take down top 10. Some of the best was here for this one when the field got rushed. And I have a sense if that were to happen again tonight.
Yeah, they'll spill out. 4-5 against top 10 for Matt Campbell, who a lot of people said, you know, why didn't he leave a couple years ago? There's all that opportunity and whatnot. And he said, look, we stayed because this is what we want to do here. Build something, as that goes for really no gain. That's Justice Finkley on the hit of Cartavius Norton.
Yeah, and once again, big old 93 is just a space eater. He takes two, they're solid on the edge, and they're into some of the rub, right? You want to possess the ball. You want those rushing attempts. But if you do it on first down like that, all of a sudden now, how can you get back ahead of these chains? That guy's going to be an excellent player at the NFL level, man. Selfless, sacrificial, and just immovable at the point of attack.
Creates so many opportunities for other guys on that line, including Sorrell and Burke. That's a defensive back blitzing, and it's Jaron Thompson getting the hand up. It'll be third down.
Trying to get one of those little gimmies, and you're going to see the veteran here, Thompson, much like Sweat earlier, perfect timing. You can't get home on a quick throw. Get your hands up, get into that passing lane. And is every third down tonight just going to be 10 plus?
It feels like it, doesn't it? I mean, the average third down for both these defenses is over 7 for the year. But this is a tough place to swim in the pool for Iowa State all night. Pressure coming. Hansen picked it up for a moment, and then Beck goes down. He is crumpled. Alfred Collins, Tavondre Sweat together.
Well, once again, he is lining right up on the true freshman right here. And that is just a tough, tall task for a true freshman, because this 360-something pounds, he doesn't just stand there and eat space. He'll get in the backfield, too. 5th on this team in total tackles, 3rd on this team in tackles for loss. And he's made his presence felt. Exactly what he nodded to you and me and Allison last night and said, 7 o'clock, get your popcorn ready.
Yeah, we'll see. And we have seen 4 sacks combined, not a ton of offense. Iowa State playing the game they really wanted to. Texas has not been able to break out yet.
Coach Sarkisian, as your offense gets the ball back, what do they need to do better to stay out of the 3rd and longs?
Well, some self-inflicted wounds. You know, we've taken a couple sacks on early downs. We had the holding penalty. So we got to stay ahead of the chain so we get in some manageable 3rd down situations.
Thanks, Sark.
Thank you.
2 sacks, 2 penalties, and the lowest output in a first quarter so far this year for Texas. Now, the Longhorns have played from ahead quite a bit recently and seen teams come back at them. This is a different looking game so far, as Worthy is back for another blast of a punt from Tyler Perkins, but it's returnable. And Xavier Worthy shot out of a cannon across the 35-yard line. Very returnable deep punt for Texas.
And you give him any kind of green grass. He's such a long strider. A 50-yard punt there, but not tremendous hang time, and that really allowed those blocks to do an excellent job by Taft there. And you see the long strider just get going and galloping.
Xavier Worthy, who said to us in week 1, he said, if one of us eats, all of us eats, referring to these very talented wide receivers. A lot of skill on the outside for Texas in a short field for the first time today. Play action. Baxter is the outlet, and he's to the fringe. Baxter playing because Jonathan Brooks was injured last week with a torn ACL. So not only do they not have him, they lost Bijan Robinson, Roshan Johnson from last year, and there's a big difference when Brooks has not been in this year.
Just look at the production right there, over 6 yards a carry, and when he watched the tape, it was his patience. He got to watch those stars in front of him. He learned a little something in that backup role over the last couple years. A breakout season. You feel horrible for him, but I love that he's on the trip, and Sark said, absolutely, we need him here, we want him here. Inspiration for these guys.
A sizzling catch and run guy as well. This is a run for Blue, and he's going to set up 3rd down and 2 for Texas. Just 30 carries or so this year for Jaden Blue for the Longhorns, and their best looking 3rd down. It's 3rd and short. Again, and he tunnels forward right into contact, and that should be a 1st down, although let's see, yeah, they are going to bring the sticks forward. Malik Verdon got the hit, but Texas moves the chains.
Verdon and Freeler coming out of the secondary. Blue's going to learn, as is the true freshman, there's going to be free hitters. Iowa State's defense is all about the big guys being sacrificial up front, eating up the blocks, so that Freeler leads his team in tackles, 74 coming into tonight. Just prepare yourself as a runner. You know some guys are going to be unblocked, and you're going to have to deal with that contact.
Ewers scanning, running. Ewers wants to throw on the go. Flag comes in. It's into the end zone, and it's Adonai Mitchell for a touchdown if it stands. It could be his 10th of the year, but it looks like no. It's on Kelvin Banks Jr., who had 0 penalties all of last year.
Yeah, and that is all about Dominic Orange, the big fella that just continued to work. And Adonai saying, are you kidding me? That was going to be my 10th. And another highlight reel. But the sophomore here, you're going to see him right here tangled up. And this is all about Dominic Orange. If Dominic Orange gives up on this play and he's a 330-pound nose tackle, there's going to be no hold. But he doesn't. And that's an excellent call. You're just tugging jersey right in full view of the official. And that's a touchdown off the board.
And now it's 1st and 20, another self-inflicted issue for Texas. It's a throwback on the screen. It's Blue. Blue has a convoy, and he's sideswiped by Bo Freeler to set up 2nd down.
That was an excellent job by that sophomore left tackle to come back out. Banks comes right back with an excellent block. But again, Freeler's unblocked. And that is the story of this defense. How many different ways can we free up our best tacklers? But kudos to you, young man. Don't hang your head, Kelvin Banks Jr. You're a star, and every lineman's going to get a holding call occasionally, especially on a scramble. I love that kick-out block on the screen.
So 2 teams that are great at bouncing back. Iowa State from the Ohio loss. Texas from the injuries they've suffered over and over again on the offensive side recently. Wow, a little soft shoe by Blue, and he is thwarted, drilled by Freeler and Vaughn. 2 of the foundational pieces of this defense.
Yeah, just look at this traffic jam of chaos. Look at all this stuff here, so you free up Freeler there. And that's what you want to do. And then, bam, I'm going to come in, and so is Vaughn and the rest of the crew to take my shots and feed.
Third and long again. Both defenses live here. Pressure coming. Ewers back foot into the end zone. Incomplete. Adonai Mitchell the target. And it's 4th down coming up. That is TJ Tampa, the sticky corner. Right there with him, hip to hip.
Well, these are 2 NFL dudes, chest to chest, hip to hip, everything, an inside vertical. And there's just no separation. Adonai Mitchell, one of the best in the country in contested catches. but the 6'2" Tampa does not give him any room.
Bert Auburn has only missed once inside of 40 this year. This is true. We are tied.
This is gritty.
Doesn't feel like that's going to change much. This game has already settled into what it's likely going to be, and it's going to be close. Welcome back to Fox College Football, sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Nightfall at Iowa State, the beautiful Ryman Gardens outside of Jack Trice Stadium, where Texas tries to keep its college football playoff hopes alive with just one loss to Oklahoma in the waning seconds at the State Fair. The Longhorns have just tied the game with a field goal on the board for the first time tonight.
Shout out to Scott and Chase Ryman. I know watching this one and watching again, as you said earlier, just an epic kind of Cyclone night. Gritty, tough, and more than likely close.
Well, that's the way they've played it, and that's the way Matt Campbell's teams have been. Here's how this has gone. 2-3, including a big loss to Oklahoma. 10-7 to Ohio. We had the Iowa game. They've won 4 of their last 5, and they really felt like they could have had Kansas. An 80-yard touchdown to Lawrence Arnold flipped that game late. And 5-2 in the Big 12 after a team last year. We saw them in their finale last year, and it wasn't disarray, but they were no match for TCU. They had to fire a couple of coaches. Tom Manning relieved of his duties, the offensive coordinator. That obviously struck a chord with Matt Campbell and John Haycock, guys who really helped build the program, including the strength and conditioning coach as well. They made a change there as Rocco Beck, the freshman, hits Jalen Knoll, and he's at the sideline at the 42 for a first down.
Oh, and this is pretty. We saw the deep out the other side, and you're going to see it here. Just a beautiful job of Knoll feeling that quarters coverage. Texas will run a lot of that. Just 4 people deep in the secondary. Got to take advantage of those out-cutting routes.
Rocco Beck running behind the freshman tight end Burkle. Second down coming up.
You know what else I feel tonight? I feel like that black helmet and the white helmet, we're going to see some marks. There's going to be not just the warfare at the line of scrimmage. Yeah, there's a few of them already. Yeah, we're just going to see, I think, over the course of the evening, they're going to have to polish them up because this is going to be a physical affair.
You drive long enough, you're going to have bugs on your windshield. Second down and 8. Beck just kind of flares it out there for Bramer in space, and Ben Bramer, that looked like a shot put without any power behind it, a gain of 15.
Oh, and if the true freshman right guard right here, Brendan Black, has his eyes up, you're 1 block away from Bramer hitting his head on the goalpost. Look at the true freshman. He's looking to his right. He doesn't have his eyes up. If he just puts a body on Catalan, Bramer, the long strider, the gazelle, he's in for a touchdown. Just a little learning lesson from a true freshman that is growing with everything flying around him. Just look straight ahead, and Bramer may have scored.
2 of those freshmen who have really established themselves together there. This is Sama, another freshman. And yes, Iowa State's got a lot of young talent, but this Texas defense is so deep.
Yep. And play a lot of people and going to rotate them around. But how about that? How about just those last 2 plays? A true freshman tight end with a true freshman right guard blocking, and now a true freshman running back. And you're right in the hunt for the Big 12. That just doesn't happen. Look around the league. It's grown men that are usually winning championships. To do it with the mix, again, has just infused this program.
Out of nowhere, really, after that start that had them 2-3. Rocco Beck, short set. There's another slant. It's on target once more, and it's Higgins on his 3rd slant catch of the day to set up 3rd and medium.
Did you say 3rd and medium?
I did. Are you surprised?
Yes. Hard to do.
You should be.
Against the lead defense. It's 2 best in the Big 12, and Rocco Beck knows this is the kind of game it's going to be. Watched his pops play a decade in the NFL, and once again, a few more marks on those helmets. But I said in the meeting this morning, it's going to have an NFL feel, where 3rd downs, where situations are going to be so pivotal in the outcome.
This could be 2 plays to get 4 yards. Iowa State has been sacked twice on those 3rd downs so far. Beck, another short set, and that is caught by Knoll. It's very close. He's going to be, it looks like, right near the 30-yard line, and they will say it's a first down. Oh, that is really close. Close shade for Knoll.
And it's all about, you're going to see the little route here. He's going to have a great feel for that space. Ooh. He gets collision there by Barron. Where is the ball?
First blush, I think he's short. You?
I think replay next to us is taking a good look at it.
The field of a first down is under further review.
So we'll look at it again. Dean Blandino is with us. We'll talk to Dean after the timeout. But the team barber, Jalen Knoll, with as close of a shave as you're going to get.
Show me the college football ranking.
Dean Blandino, they're going to mark him short. What do you think here?
I agree. Initial contact, but he has to maintain that control. He's going to be bobbling the football. Watch the bobble as he's driven back. As soon as he regains control, that's your point of forward progress. That's a great review. Great line, Jason. The barber line with the close shave. And thank you for the support on the Michigan-Maryland targeting review.
At least the two of us are here for each other. This is going to be at the 33-yard line. So it's going to be 4th down and 3. And Matt Campbell feels like he should have maybe a yard or two more from what Dean was talking about. It looks like the spot was accurate, Brian.
Yeah, I think it is accurate when he does gain control. I think a timeout here for Matt Campbell so he can get further explanation.
Iowa State calls their first time out of the half.
Look, Matt Campbell is pleading his case. But the question is, when did he get control of the football, as Dean said?
Yep, and he's going to get the explanation here from Mr. Boydman, but this is the right call. He does not have possession here. An excellent collision. Barron, the nickel safety there for Texas, knows right where that line is, too. He jars it loose, so you gain control. Right, Dean Blandino? You gain control there at the 33. That seems to be pretty obvious.
That's exactly right. And I know Coach Campbell, he obviously is thinking about maybe going for it. Can I get a yard or two? But you have to maintain that continuous control to get that initial spot where the contact occurred, and he didn't.
That's great, Dean. Continuous control. It got interrupted, and so it's Contreras from 51. His career long is 56 earlier this year. From the middle of the field off a high snap, and that one veers on him. It's no good, and Texas will take over. Just a massive turn of this game in the last couple of minutes.
Want to see where your team stands? Just tell Siri. Show me the college football ranking.
Disappointed Iowa State fan off the missed field goal. Texas takes over. And the little ones who are Longhorn enthusiasts feel like maybe the offense can break out. Quinn Ewers the throw. He's got it to Xavier Worthy against TJ Tampa. Gain of 11 downstairs, Allison.
Just want to make you guys aware, CJ Baxter looks like he's playing through some discomfort right now. He was banged up after a tackle on the previous possession. Sought out the attention of athletic trainers on the sideline. Spent some time in the injury tent. It looked like it was maybe a lower back or hip issue.
He had the foot injury earlier this year, Baxter did. And this is Baxter, and he is dropped by Will McLaughlin after a gain of 1.
Yeah, the true freshman and this entire crew. And Texas playing some young people, too. Not nearly as many as the Cyclones. But this is going to be just a tremendous test for him. Uber talented kid, but he's, again, playing an opponent like McLaughlin there that does everything right. Outside arm free, fundamentally sound. Here comes contact. And Steve Sarkisian knows exactly the quality of opponent they're up against.
Ewers Throws it far side. Wide open Worthy. I mean, wide open. He is inside the 30. Stood up by Cooper. They got 29.
Gorgeous. You call this scissors, and you're going to see why. These two will do this. And because of that scissor combination, it frees up Worthy on a beautifully timed throw. You can't do it better than that. You asked me earlier about Ewer's arm. Does it look a little different? There you go. Plant it, rip it, and give Worthy the opportunity in space.
Tell you what, Adonai Mitchell made some contact there as well to help free that up.
When you're full speed down the field, you get a little more benefit of the doubt.
It's a flip, and it's Worthy coming this way. Xavier Worthy behind Sanders. Ball on the deck. It's still loose. A Texas player had a shot at it, but couldn't come up with it initially. And now let's see. Christian Jones was down there, and he flew over the football. Freeler says it's Cyclone football. It is. McLaughlin is on it. Jeremiah Cooper with the helmet on the ball.
Jeremiah Cooper. Jeremiah Cooper. All you do is take the ball away. 5 big interceptions before an injury derailed him the last 2 weeks. They couldn't wait to get him back on the field, and look at that pile. Look at the effort down there to scratch and claw. Cooper can't do it better. Haycock loves it. That's what this team has done this year, Jason. Plus 10 in the turnover margin. Just when Texas is rolling, just when they're stepping on it, the Cyclones don't back down.
Jeremiah Cooper had 5 pick sixes in 1 year in high school football. He has been all over the football his entire career, and he did it again. This is a throw for Beck. It's tipped and incomplete. David Benda nearly had a runaround pick 6 for himself.
If he had a little bit more Biletnikoff Stickum back in the day, he would have. He is right in the middle. Eyes on this RPO. You play the run first, and then it's vision back to the QB. And honestly, we've seen some guys, especially receivers, in this day and age, stick that paw out and hold on to it, and Benda nearly did. Just great vision we're seeing of these defenses tonight, Benetti.
2 outstanding efforts so far. Heward. Here's a throw. It is Steve-O Klotz, and he is a yard short. He's out of Chaska, Minnesota. And you talk about a guy who's got a name that fits the way his jersey looks. Steve-O Klotz.
And this program, big old shoulder brace. That thing's probably aching and barking. Doesn't matter. I'll bite on my mouthpiece. I'll just continue to do the dirty, gritty work. And that man runs into, as he's looking at his wristband, a ton of collisions. And more than likely on 3rd and 1, he'll be involved in it.
His jersey looks like a 1985 Tercel that hasn't been washed since you bought it. 3rd and 1. Back, little jump throw this way, and it's Jalen Knoll, who Rocco Beck said, look, I have such confidence in as a human being. Yes, on the field, but man, do they have a relationship.
Here's a little bit of tempo. Get that first down. Don't sub. Why? So Sweat in that defensive line has to stay on the field. I like it.
So do you run him laterally here? Let's see. It's Beck to throw. It's down the middle, and it's a low grab this time by Jalen Knoll. Man, his hands are soft, and a marker comes in as well on the hit.
That was the true freshman Williams, and he is trying to pick up his pieces as well, because that was a massive collision. Wow.
Personal foul, targeting number 2 defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. The play is under further.
Is it a defenseless player? It looks like the answer is yes. Did he launch? And is it forcible contact to the head or neck area?
Dean, you get a chance.
What do you got, Dean?
Totally redeem yourself. What do you see?
The key here, is he defenseless, or has he transitioned to a runner with the ability to protect himself? That's going to be the key question, because there's no contact with the crown, and you can see it's actually the receiver who's going to drop his head. I don't really see the defender attacking here. I see this as more of a collision and don't feel this is targeting.
Dean, I could quote Gus Johnson from this morning, right?
Oh, exactly. Gus was fired up.
He was fired up because what did he say? That's a bang-bang play. And here's two guys, and as a defender, how am I supposed to always know exactly what Noel's going to do? And when he puts his head down, there's no indicator. That, to me, is a football play. Two guys in a massive collision.
Dean, can I ask you a question real fast? Does he become defenseless because well, we'll hear the call here first. Here comes the call.
After further review, there was no foul for targeting on the play. Number 2 may stay in the game. The result of the play is a first down.
Yeah, Dean, you were on it. It looked like Noel had enough control of his body, right, that he was no longer defenseless because he kind of curled and took a couple of steps?
Exactly right. You're looking for that receiver to clearly transition to a runner with the ability, the time to ward off, avoid that contact. That's how I saw it. I think we all saw it that way, and I'm happy that they took the targeting off, because that's not really the intent of the rule, to disqualify when you have that bang-bang play, and both players are really trying to get low.
Dean, thank you so much. First down for Iowa State nonetheless. They won't tack on the penalty. This is a run right into the car wash, and Benda just overwhelms Sama.
You hear that?
I heard all of it. You want to hear it again?
Yes. There's no better music made. Sorry. Crunch Course.
Yeah,
it used to be a video. NFL Crunch Course. The greatest sounds there are.
Procured Foley artist. Second down and 10 for Iowa State. Low scoring first half, so much on the line. Rocco Beck, another slant and another bullseye to Higgins.
Keep taking it. The time Texas gets into a bare front, they cover everybody up, and how many times have you seen these two just execute that slant play? 49ers made a living of it. I think a guy named Rice in Montana were pretty good, and you keep taking it, and then you know ultimately, Jason, in your back pocket comes the slug off. At some point, over the course of the next 33 minutes, there is no way that Nate Shieldhouse is not going to call a slant and go for Rocco Beck.
Niners did that very well, too. T.O. along with those other names. Third down and 3. Beck to his right hand, and he whistles it incomplete for Noel.
I'm a little surprised he didn't throw. He actually had a little curl route. So that is, again, another 49er play, a little sprint right wheel. And it was almost as if he predetermined the wheel, because watch the curl come into play here. He could have hit Higgins. Now, there was a window to hit that little curl route. A little bit greedy on that third down when Beck looks at the tape.
When was that he could have hit him?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Just trying to get my timing right. Tyler Perkins to Xavier Worthy. Strong return earlier of 22 yards. Worthy again, right down the middle. There is a marker in. He is out of here, and Xavier Worthy scores. Will it stand? It's like a block in the back, right around where Worthy caught the ball. Keaton Crawford, it looks like.
That's 2 touchdowns off the board. Remember that. A holding call on Banks took away an unbelievable touchdown for Mitchell. And a block in the back here, as they discuss it, may take away a play that you know, after the fumble in the red zone, Worthy wanted to make up for it, and boy, did he.
This is a long conversation, though, Brock.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 21 on the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Sark said it to Allison about 12 minutes ago at game time. Too many self-inflicted issues. There it is, Keaton Crawford blocking the back.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime, undefeated Washington faces a major test in Corvallis, while Bo Nix makes a statement in the Heisman race. And will Georgia's winning streak ever end? It's up to 28 games and counting. is he had to have, Jason and Buck? Right now.
Not really a threat, Mike, from Rocky Top today. Georgia keeps on running. And Texas trying to stay in the college football playoff race. They can't clinch a spot in the Big 12 title game tonight because of what happened earlier, but they can get real close. It's a first down run after the penalty. Jaden Blue a couple of yards.
Lots of conversation with Crawford over here on the sidelines. Multiple coaches, and this is the best right here. Just do your job. And I love the little affirmation at the end. Crawford is doing all he can. He knows against those gunners, man, just get your body in front. But the bummer on both touchdowns called back today, Jason, both with Crawford and Banks, they didn't need to do it. Didn't need to do it. Worthy was going to score there and run by that gunner anyway, and Ewers would have got the ball off.
Instead, it's C.J. Baxter getting fed, and he gets wrapped up by Miles Purchase, and that could have gone a much longer way.
That was an excellent job of the big fellas. Watch them here just lock on man, chest on chest, and a nice hole there for Baxter.
Ewers loads up this way. That's center for Texas. Jake Majors was referred to by Kyle Flood in our first meeting this year as a football cyborg. This offensive line has been together, and they are obviously part of the reason for Jonathan Brooks in his breakout season. But now it's a matter of who can pick up the slack in that run game with him out.
It's just about grit and toughness, man. As you saw all day today in college football, these games, it's not always going to be pretty, but you just got to keep pounding.
It's exactly how Oklahoma did it earlier at BYU with a defensive play. And this is another sack of Quinn Ewers. And once again, it is the Iowa native, Joey Peterson.
And he is going up against Christian Jones. He's given up, I don't know, 50 pounds, 45 starts right here for the big right tackle, just one-on-one. And it's effort. And I'm telling you, earlier in the year, Ewers feels that. Maybe he steps back, he improvises. When he sees a three-man rush, he's got to help his guys out just a little bit more and use his legs and his creativity. But number two for Peterson, a career night.
Who thought about going to trade school instead of playing football. Instead, he decided to come to Iowa State, where his father and brother went, as Quinn Ewers flicks this out at Jatavion Sanders, and that's one of those arm angles from Ewers.
And there you go. Just extending the play just a little bit, right? Buying just a little bit of time, and you're going to see Sanders come across the field here in just a little flick. Just that spiral that he creates. We've talked about this in the broadcast with Quinn over the last couple years, man. He's got a unique ability to spin it as you see Sanders, the stud tight end, going down.
And Jatavion Sanders is hurt. He is threatening the all-time tight end reception mark here at Texas. He's been so productive in just a couple of years here.
Time out for an injury. There is no runoff. The clock was stopped for an incomplete pass.
He went out of bounds is what it was. That's why the clock was stopped.
Correction for a pass that was caught out of bounds.
And he got rolled up on the sideline there by Verdon. While they attend to Sanders, we'll take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. Flash, sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 150 years.
Well, the big one right there in a game where points are going to be a premium. Touchdown so hard to come by. Two of them off of the board. Two gigantic plays for Mitchell and Worthy. And you see the third down struggles against the second best third down team in America, these Longhorns. Too many third and longs for Rocco Becht in that offense. And a missed field goal of their own on a high snap that cost them.
Well, and it really, that could have been a go for it on fourth down. Jalen Knoll had the juggle. He got pushed back. He didn't get the first down that he initially had. Now John Haycock's defense has to figure out a way to keep Texas out of the end zone because the Cyclones get it after halftime.
Pivotal 48 seconds.
Gunnar Helm in at tight end for Texas with all three timeouts for Quinn Ewers. They'll ride it for a little while. Now Ewers to throw right down the middle. That's a completion and a first down and then some. It is Whittington breaking tackles to the fringe, and a big hit for the Longhorns. Tampa ushered him out. It's a gain of 30.
What a beautiful route from the fifth-year senior. Kind of the unsung guy. He's going to come in motion like he's running the deep over, and then he stops. Just excellent timing here as another Longhorn is down. But Whittington turns the corner there. TJ Tampa turns those shoulders, and this is what you have to do. You have got to be extra special, and Haycock knows it. Cannot give up those big plays. He's screaming at his senior Tampa right there. If you get beaten coverage, get beaten coverage, but make that tackle.
He said, make a play. That's DJ Campbell, the right guard, who is down, the former high school All-American. And they're working on his left leg.
And this line has had so much continuity this year, Jason. When 5 can work as one and start every game together, good things happen. And, you know, when you went back to your notes from week number 1 with Steve Sarkisian, what did he say? How this team was built?
It was the offensive line. He said, look, it was a thin room when we got here, and not only did we know we needed 5 of them, we needed 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 guys.
I believe it's 17 on scholarship they have within the program.
Yeah, it's 17.
Yes, 17 of 85. That's like an NFL team spending significant salary cap dollars on the most important crew. And yeah, this says something to you here. When you're the runt at 6'3", 315, he wanted them big. He came from Nick Saban in Alabama, where he learned it's about big humans. And the more of them you have in depth, the better.
It's Cole Hudson who's come in, the sophomore out of Frisco, to play right guard, one of those 17 offensive linemen, and there is a whistle and a marker on the far side at the 31. This would be the 5th penalty against Texas for 50 yards.
False start on the offense. The unit never got set before the snap. 5-yard penalty, first down.
And I think that was Whittington. And 5 for 50 doesn't even tell the story.
Because it's 14 points.
It erased. You're going to see the motion with Whittington right here come across and just never get set. I mean, erased a 90-yard punt return and erased a 30-plus yard touchdown.
They'll break off Whittington. Blue joins Ewers in the backfield. Quinn Ewers steps up and checks it down. It is Blue out of the backfield, and he is out of bounds at the 29 with Verdon. Give him about 6. Under 30 seconds to go. And again, Iowa State gets it out of halftime.
Quinn Ewers has to know right here, do not get greedy. Know that Haycock in Iowa State and the way they're going to play is deeper than the deepest. That guy's been doing it for 40 years, as good as anybody, especially here with Matt Campbell, the last 8 in college football. But he's going to keep his people deep. He doesn't like to pressure anyway, and Quinn's got to take what they give you.
Peterson has been a live wire so far tonight. 2nd down, 9. They go empty again. Ewers with a cross. He's got Whittington, and he is torpedoed. Miles Purchase. What an open field tackle and a timeout coming.
If you're going to be a corner at Iowa State, you're not going to be here just to cover. You're going to have to come and be, as you just said, a torpedo. Miles Purchase out of Cherry Creek, a multiple state champion in Colorado. I watched him in high school, Jason, and to see how he's transformed his body into a 205-pound tackling machine. Tampa on the other side's 200 pounds. You've got to be physical to play corner in this defense.
What did Purchase look like before?
He was just leaner and meaner. Yeah, I mean, he just looked like an elite athlete and a running back and a receiver and a corner. But there's a good 15, 20 pounds of muscle. Bo Freeler the same way. Verdon the same way. You're going to develop in this program. You're going to do it in the weight room. And you're going to be physical defensively. Look at the chalk all over the pants. There's so many of those calves and legs. You're going to be flying around the field.
I mean, it honestly looks like a sumo match down there. 3rd down, 6 for Quinn Ewers. Pressure coming from everywhere. Ewers steps through, floats it, and incomplete down the middle.
This will be interesting. He is under duress, so I don't think there's intentional grounding, or they're having a conversation about this. There was not a receiver in the middle of the field.
No, he was in the pocket. There was no receiver. And let's see. Oh, Kevin Boydman reaching for the, there it is. Wow. Now, we saw the one in the Maryland-Michigan game. Tagovailoa had a very clean pocket. This is different, and Dean mentioned at that time, and Joel Klatt did as well, that when there is duress, that can affect the call. It would have been about a 44-yard field goal. Dean, what do you see here?
So the quarterback is in the pocket, and he's clearly under pressure. That's part one. And then part two, downfield. Is there a receiver in the area? It looked almost like the receiver ran a different route. The quarterback threw the ball into the middle of the field, but the officials are just ruling on, they're not ruling on the route, miscommunication. Is there a receiver in the area? Was he in the pocket under pressure?
Number 3, offense. It's a loss of down at the spot of the foul. It will be 4th down.
And to be clear,
the foul includes a 10-second runoff.
Yep.
Please reset the game clock to 7 seconds.
You can use a timeout, though.
Yes.
Now, the duress matters if there's somebody kind of close. There wasn't here.
No, you're going to see the deep post go all the way here, and the throw goes between the goalposts. So to Dean's point, that deep post was crossing the field, and Matt Campbell, he loves it.
So this ends up being a 50-yard try. We've seen both teams now attempt long field goals. 7 seconds to go, first half. Bert Auburn's long is 49, and we have a timeout, and that would have been no good.
Texas takes their second timeout of the half. It will be a full timeout.
And look at
That's
Sark.
your job, he
That's
says.
your job. Look at me. I'm trying to call a timeout here. I know the clock is running. He pulls an old Aaron Boone. Do your job.
That's not for that official. That's the Lifetime Achievement Award in the last 10 seconds, right? Next week, college football's greatest rivalry renewed with the game. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Michigan. National championship hopes on the line. Both unbeaten. Big noon kickoff live from Ann Arbor, 9 a.m. Eastern. Then the Buckeyes and Wolverines, noon Eastern on Fox. Ohio State a runaway earlier today against Minnesota. Michigan did not have that. It's the 119th meeting. And you know, we were there in week 3. Ohio State was thinking about this game in week 1. I mean, that's the way Columbus thinks, and that's the way Ann Arbor thinks. This will define a season and maybe a career.
Yeah, I think both think about each other an awful lot, and with everything that's happened the last month or so, that much more. But a good thing Sir got that timeout, because that was going to be hooked left. Let's see if Bert Auburn can make an adjustment here.
This would be his long. And now Iowa State will call a timeout. Now, you can't call, an individual team cannot call back-to-back timeouts, but if one team calls a timeout, the other one is available to call a timeout, and Matt Campbell takes the opportunity to extra freeze with a big smile on his face.
He loves these dudes. Both these coaches do, man. I know it's senior night. We probably spent a little more time talking about the emotion in the building, everything this crew's been through, but Sark loves his dudes too. And he has cut entitlement out. He has grown these guys. This is just like the perfect game to measure just how gritty, how tough, how much can you slug it out. Not just the pretty 5 stars, right? Not just the Ferraris all over the place, but Quinn Ewers knowing my shoulder hurts. It's cold. This is a tough team, but we can match their toughness, and we'll see it over the final 30 minutes.
Yeah, this is, can you trade paint around turn 3 in the final 5 laps of this race that is the Big 12 season. Field goals galore so far. Matt Campbell braces for the 50-yard drive from Bert Auburn. He missed the one prior to the timeout. This one is on the way, and it is good. A career kick for Bert Auburn, and the Longhorns carry the lead into halftime here in Ames.
I think that kick was a little bit emblematic as well. It was just fighting, right? Had a little bit more turnover, I guess, than in real time, but it was gritty, it was tough. His teammates loved it, and the next 30 are going to be awesome, my friends.
That was a resilient field goal. 6-3 to halftime. Mike Hill, Bruce Feldman in Los Angeles. The State Farm halftime show is now. Welcome back to Fox College Football, sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Texas has college football playoff hopes. Iowa State still can get into the Big 12 title game, and never has music and a sponsor and a game fit better. Ram Trucks, Screamo, and 6'3".
Just those Rams colliding. And if you want defense, then stay tuned to this one, because there was a whole lot of defense and a whole bunch of collisions. We could hear them. All 61,000 of us could hear it in here tonight. A beautiful play by Jeremiah Cooper. Huge play to get that takeaway in the red zone. And it was a little bit of everything. It was a lot of zone and come up and tackle. It was getting after Quinn Ewers, as the Cyclones did here, holding Texas to just 2 field goals. And a big part of that were these 2 penalties. Kelvin Banks Jr. with a scrambling Quinn Ewers so hard on those tackles, but he just reaches, grabs Clough, and it takes a beautiful touchdown away from Mitchell. And then here Keaton Crawford doesn't even have to. I mean, that block in the back is after Worthy's a couple yards by him. He made up for that fumble in the red zone with that huge explosive punt return, but all for naught. 50-0 right now in penalty yards.
4 sacks as well for Iowa State have hurt the Texas Longhorns, and we go downstairs to Allison Williams. What'd you find out?
No fear, no doubt. That was the message inside the Iowa State locker room, according to head coach Matt Campbell at the half. Really pleased with where his team is at right now with the 3-point game in the second half. And he said defensively they've done a nice job getting pressure on Ewers, forcing them into some 2nd and 3rd and longs. For Texas guys, I talked to Steve Sarkisian. He said, look, when we've been able to stay out of those 3rd and longs, we've been pretty good. We've got to run the ball in the second half. Couple injury updates for them as well. Tight end Jatavian Sanders and right guard DJ Campbell will both be on the field when the offense comes back out.
Thank you, Allison. Tons of stuff in that report. Thank you very much. Rocco back to throw to the far side, and somebody slipped over there. The coverage slipped, and Higgins makes the catch for the first down. Take a look at Big Deals, sponsored by Shop with Google. Shop deals, score big.
Well, you knew when you're facing the #1 3rd down defense in the conference, #2 in the country, 1 of 6 there for Iowa State, and too many 3rd and longs.
It's a first down run. They ran 10 times for 5 yards in that first half. Eli Sanders there for 1 or 2.
Say that again?
Yeah, that was 10 carries for 5 yards. For those of you into math.
Yeah, that's a lot of beef you're running up against. And when Rocco comes to the line of scrimmage, and I can remember facing teams like this, and you get to the line and you look at Sweat, and you look at Murphy, and you look at Sorrell, and you look at these guys, and just,
whew, how do you convince yourself you can do this?
Well, you give big pats on the butt to the guys up front and say, hey guys, just keep slugging away. Good block, too.
It's another run. It's 2 straight runs, and Eli Sanders gets a composite 4 on those couple of carries. That's Blackwell, the linebacker, and a big celebration with Jalen Ford.
And 2 runs get you now to a manageable 3rd and 5. Unlike an incompletion and some of those 3rd and 10s and 3rd and 10s and 3rd and 10s, now Pete Kwiatkowski on that side, who's done just a brilliant work with his defense in these situations. He said to us, we work so hard all offseason, all spring, all training camp on this down and distance as much as any.
Higgins up top, Knoll in the slot on 3rd down and 5. That's Knoll in motion. Beck looks the other direction and throws it there for a first down to the tight end, Ben Bramer. He played for his father in high school, and he's taken a big role here at Iowa State.
There's catch radiuses, and you're going to see it. He's going to come right here, and then there's catch radiuses. And when you're 6'7", there is nothing more appealing to a quarterback than seeing space and those kind of arms, that kind of reach, and most importantly, the hands to bring it in.
You looked at him close up on the field.
Man, he is just different. They've always had big tight ends, but none. They glide and move like that true freshman.
They lost to Sean Hanukkah in that whole gambling scandal. They lost 5 starters in that. This run is going absolutely nowhere. David Benda turned it aside.
Yeah, he is just reading a key right here. We saw him earlier beautifully on an RPO, but once this happens, watch him. He does not hesitate. Once he sees that true freshman, that is just a tell this week. That is something in their study in the run game. And once you see that key, you trigger, and Benda knew how to finish.
Texas, best Big 12 runs per carry allowed at about 3, and today that is microscopic, 13 runs for 7 yards. It's a bunch up top for Rocco Beck. Quick hitter that way for Sama. Blackwell missed the tackle, and he turned into a battering ram. Sama straight ahead, right into Taft.
Yeah, while Blackwell missed the tackle, Jason, sometimes there's missed tackles that kill you. And then there's sometimes missed tackles that set up success for others, as you saw there with Taft in the pursuit, because Blackwell read it again and triggered again and got into the backfield that allowed Taft to clean it up.
Talk about somebody who's resilient. Taft, a former walk-on, has started a bunch this year with some injury to Catalan.
3rd and 10.
Once again, 2 for 7 on 3rd down for the Cyclones. Beck hops out of the pocket, rolls and throws, and he's got the running back Hansen, but now you're going to be 4th down at about 6.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tavondre Sweat gets in the pocket. Otherwise, there's a 1st down to Jalen Knoll right over the ball. That big man right there, we saw a rush earlier. That shows up nowhere. Nowhere on a stat sheet does that show up as, well, maybe a pressure. But because of his pressure right here, you're going to see Knoll come open right over the ball. But because that color flashed, he unfortunately did Beck have to come off of Knoll. You see him right there and just throw it underneath and force the punt.
Just crossing his eyes. That's all that matters.
That's all
there.
it was. Just a, well, I mean, it's 365 pounds crossing your eyes.
It was not a shallow cross. Here is Perkins to boot it away for Worthy, who's been great back there from the 9-yard line. Texas will have it when we come back. A gutty 6-3 lead for the Longhorns with college football playoff aspirations. Fox College Football is sponsored by Cerveza Dos Equis. Get a dose. Please drink responsibly. And by Progressive Insurance. Round out your protection with Life Phone and Pet Health Insurance. The glow of Jack Trice Stadium, and will this be the place where Texas's college football playoff hopes continue or get damaged mortally? 2 touchdowns taken away by penalties, the enormous one there. 1st down for the Longhorns. 15 1st down plays, 11 passes, just their 5th run on 1st down. With C.J. Baxter, and Iowa State defensively has been outstanding in the 2nd half. Top 10 in points, just 1 touchdown per 2nd half. 3rd in total yards, and Texas has struggled to put teams away.
A couple reasons why. That man right there knows his scheme inside and out and how to make adjustments. And number 2, they play a ton of people. They don't get worn down. They play a lot of personnel on that side of the ball.
That was Worthy in motion. They'll go Baxter, and Baxter hops through, turns, and has a 1st down to the 33-yard line.
Ooh, there's a good little counter action. We've not seen a ton of this, but watch the big fellas come around here. Both left guard, left tackle leading the way. The athleticism of Connor and Banks to get out in front of it. And here's a little adjustment from Steve Sarkisian. Just knowing the flow of the game and the style of it and saying, okay, we've got to come out, we've got to hammer them too. And when we get the ball, we're going to commit to running it back-to-back runs. And a big 1st down.
It feels a lot like what Kalen DeBoer said to us last week in Seattle. I'm watching it playing right now. He said, they have to play us too. And Texas maybe leaning into Iowa State here with some muscle. It's yours to throw, and that's a low throw that buzzes off the ground to Worthy.
And those just can't happen. I mean, it's not a negative play. It's going to get cooler over the course of the night. You can see him licking his fingers right there. But those are the 0 plays that just kill you against this kind of defense.
What does it feel like in the cold, and why lick your fingers
well,
there?
It's just dry tonight, Jason. I mean, there is not a hint of winds. I mean, it is incredible for an Iowa late November weekend. It is as dry and no wind. Again, once again, licking the fingers to try to get that grip.
Second down, Ewers. Pressure right in his face. He steps up and throws, and he's got it for Worthy, who breaks outside again. Texas top 15 in the country in yards after the catch, and more there for Worthy.
And so much better. Stepping back, but then up into this pocket. Young quarterbacks, that's the key. Don't just get flush, step up into it. Only a three-man rush. We watched him in some ways sack himself earlier against that three-man rush. Not that time. There's a little bit of adjustment. Go creep up in it. Go be creative. Extend it so your athletes on the perimeter can make it look good.
Ewers fakes it to Blue, whips it out for Blue. Catch and run, and he is dragged down at the 41-yard line by the walk-on Caleb Bacon.
He's got a little wiggle to him, doesn't he?
Blue.
Just another 4-star. All those top recruiting classes for Steve Sarkisian starts to come to life when you lose your star in Brooks and you bring in a 5-star, a 4-star, and they show off their athleticism.
C.J. Baxter, the 5-star. I mean, that last play pretty much encapsulates Iowa State versus Texas, right? Caleb Bacon will walk on, and they know here at Iowa State they need walk-ons against a guy out in space in Jaden Blue, and that's what Texas needs, is get those skill players the ball.
And then on the next play, Jatavian Sanders, a 5-star, puts his head in there and just moves the pile and sets it up. When you can get your 5-stars to play like 2-stars, you get to college football playoffs.
High effort from Sanders. That's Whittington in motion, and they'll run the delay again. Baxter was slowed up that time nicely in the backfield. And it's a gain of maybe 1 or so. That was Vaughn that eventually made the stop. Gotta use everything at your disposal. Both hands, play sheet in your mouth. Sark is ready to uncork 2nd and 9. Ewers will throw far side, just the 2nd catch for Adonai Mitchell tonight, although he had a touchdown wiped out.
Pretty RPO again. Everybody at the line of scrimmage is just running run action. That same counter action they ran earlier when Ewers knows if I've got space, if 7 Verdon gives me a lane, I'm going to come up and I'm going to sling it and get to an incredibly manageable 3rd down. Where is this 3rd quarter gone?
Like a blur. 9 minutes deep already. Gotta snap it. Ewers to throw over the top. Right there, Whittington, touchdown.
This is so good. Jordan Whittington had one of the biggest blocks last week to set up his buddy for a touchdown. And you're going to see him sneak in here like he's blocking, and then he goes right by him. The advantage of 5th-year players and not true freshmen is they know when their number's called. Whittington knows, hey man, my number's called here and I got to go sell this, and I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to rush it. I'm going to go sell that block. And then the 5th year with only his 5th touchdown of his career, but the biggest to date yet.
You know, before the season, he got asked, why did you come back to school this year? His answer was, gotta get that Big 12 championship. Nice sell. Sweet feet. Fox College Football is sponsored by Pfizer and by Chase Sapphire. Upgrade your travel and dining experiences with Chase Sapphire. Steve Sarkisian, so clever as a play caller. They run so much play action, especially when Quinn Ewers is in the ball game. And Iowa State's defensive lineman Joey Peterson said, your eyes will lie to you.
Yep.
All game long, and they just did right there on that last drive.
Just 9-play, 91-yard drive. Out of halftime, you come back with the run game. You know when play action works better? When you run it. And you run it successfully as they did in that possession. And 3rd and 1, instead of just running into the pile, tremendous call and even better execution.
Line drive, Knoll. Jalen Knoll just kind of covers up to the 17-yard line. Tell you what, there's no cage around here, but they know how to do it in the Big 12. Late November, Grappling, Texas, Iowa State.
Jason, nothing I love more than unselfish players being rewarded. Look at Jordan Whittington. This was the final seconds before the half last week against TCU. Look at his extra effort, coming down and taking the nickel and blocking him right into the safety, allowing Brooks to get free for the touchdown. And when you're unselfish, guess what happens? You get rewarded. Your number gets called on the biggest 3rd and 1 yet. An explosive play that didn't get called back for a touchdown. Good on you, Jordan Whittington. I love when unselfishness is redeemed.
This Texas team has been through a lot with the injury to Quinn Ewers, the loss early in the year to Oklahoma that was rather unexpected to the fan base. As this is a run, they're going to try to establish a run, but Sama is just crumpled down by Hill. 2nd down coming up, and the offense has really been cooking for Iowa State, but this is a different challenge tonight.
Yes, it is. There's a grown man you're going up against. This is a sound defense and one that is just largely immovable at the point of attack. I appreciate the commitment to continue to try to run the ball. But Jason, this is a drive right now that feels like you've got to get points.
At least a 1st down, right? 2nd down and 9. Texas so good at forcing 3 and outs. This to the wide side, and Bramer is just spine buster down. Man, oh man, Malik Muhammad, the freshman from DeSoto.
Yeah, and if the true freshman could do it on the other side, then let me show myself. And that is a big old target. That is 6'7", 250, but you can't do it better. Those kids wrestling up on the hill.
Oh, you said it right.
Yeah, wrestling.
Yeah.
Go watch Malik Muhammad right there, because that's how you take them down.
Sets up a 3rd down and 2. Can you run it? Can you? Would you think about it?
Can you play pass it?
It's a short set. They're going to hit Knoll on a 1st down. And that has been the most productive pass play tonight for Rocco Beck.
A lot of comfort. I mean, that is some of the rhythm. And here comes that tempo. No sub. Do not allow Texas to sub their big people either.
After the first down, we see the tempo, and Cartavius Norton play action. It's Beck slinging it down the far side. Oh, what a throw! Jaden Higgins with a beautiful find from Beck.
You know, we thought we would see a slant and go. We didn't need to see a slant and go. Just get the big body on top of Ryan Watts right there. And when you win early and it's even, that throw takes you leaving.
How about the ball?
Perfect.
And that is right into a black hole. It's Baron Sorrell with the hit. I mean, just into nothingness.
Yeah, they're not doing a good enough job on the front side. Whether it's Sorrell or Burke or any of these edge defenders for Texas, they're trying to pull people around, a little pin pull. But the problem is, the whole thing is wrecked with penetration.
So what's the answer in the run game? What is it? Is there one?
Not right now. Other than to continue to be sticky with it. Just don't get away with it. Make them honor that.
There are trips at the bottom. Beck. It's a middle screen. It's Bramer. Ben Bramer right up the zipper inside the 15. You know, they ran something similar last week as well.
They sure did. And what a weapon. You're going to see him come from the outside in. Earlier, it was 1 block away, and this time the cavalry gets out in front, and I am telling you, the dude is a gazelle at 6'7".
He is. It does look a little Discovery Channel-ish, right, as he's running through the open fields of Ames, Iowa.
How about this answer?
That much-needed 33-yard hit to Higgins sets up Iowa State against a very strong red zone defense. Iowa State has scored every trip into the red zone in Big 12 play so far. Beck throwing the other direction on the lob into the bucket. Touchdown! Eli Sanders with a parachute into his lap. There's your answer.
Steve Sarkisian, you make a tremendous 3rd and 1 call, and you're going to see the play action, and Sanders have the same hesitation, right? We watch Whittington do it on the other side. I'm going to be patient when my number's called. I can't sell it early, because if I rush it, the defenders are going to see it. Eli sneaky himself, and a tremendous call from Shieldhouse, and what an answer.
Oh, and it's a blocked extra point. Here comes Texas the other way. Austin Jordan in control of this thing through the night in Iowa for 2. T'Vondre Sweat in the middle of that whole pile got his body and his hand and everything else up to take care of that puppy. Massive impact from T'Vondre Sweat.
Yeah, those numbers don't tell the story, and we saw the medallion from the big fella.
Make him sweat.
I'm telling you, if that medallion was on you, it would be shoulder to shoulder, just kind of like the ones he blew through to get his hands up and make one heck of an impactful play.
I mean, that was like Kevin Durant, right? Like that was rejected. The return, Keelan Robinson. Twisting across the 25. This Friday on Fox, catch Heisman candidate Bo Nix. He leads number 6 Oregon in a massive showdown against bitter rival Oregon State. It begins on Black Friday, 8:30 Eastern on Fox. We'll be up in Eugene for the last installment, at least scheduled, of that game. Wow, what a scene that will be, and so much on the line.
We talked about Bo Nose last year, kind of playing off Bo Jackson. What Bo Nix is doing is silly right now.
78% completion rate. I mean, come on. They were unstoppable in Tempe today. It's about half a yard as we take a look at our Heisman Watch, sponsored by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Yep, all Carson Beck does is continue to win and be unbelievably efficient. Bo Nix is just extraordinary, and Michael Penix in a dog fight tonight. Maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. gets in the mix. Jaden Daniels has put up some silly stats, but I can't remember as a Heisman voter a year like this, where it feels like if Penix and Nix match up again, or Beck's game against Bama, just singular defining games are going to be so critical in those votes.
Yeah, somebody's going to have to cement it against very good competition. Quinn Ewers fades to his left and throws on the run and got it to Worthy. The ball sprang free and it's incomplete. It's an incomplete pass. Malik Verdon again was there to push it away.
Yeah, and that's the advantage of being 6'4", 225. Quinn shakes his head because there was a beautiful flick of the wrist, but just behind and giving Verdon's big body an opportunity to rip that out and not survive the ground.
That did not complete the catch, survived the ground. Another close game for Iowa State and Texas. The drumbeat has 16 minutes left.
Empty.
3rd and 9. Ewers lobs it middle of the field, knocked away one-handed. Jontez Williams got the arm in front of Adonai Mitchell. Bye-bye to the possession, says John Haycock.
That is so hard to do against the Georgia transfer, but he doesn't hook his left arm. That is teaching tape. I think Haycock is waving and saying, put that one on the reel too, please, because fundamentally you can't do it better than that.
The freshmen learning from the seniors on this team. That was the theme in the preseason, as this boot is going to go bouncing into an Iowa State player, and TJ Tampa had to fall on top of it like a loose ball in basketball he used to play. 50-50 ball goes to the Cyclones with 1:05 to go in the 3rd, and if you're a Longhorn fan, you're looking at this saying, well, at least it's not a 2-score lead, right?
Just not been able to finish. As Sark was telling us, I mean, that's what championship teams do. You had a sense there was really no way that this was going to be a 20-point game tonight. I mean, just the way Iowa State is playing as hard as they are, but finishing, that man knows, is the name of the game in November and December.
Well, you showed it off the top of the program. First season, they're under 500. Second season, he said we won some of them, we lost some of them, the close games. This year, we need to put teams away consistently.
Or win the close one. And they're 3-1 right now, and in another one-score game as we're pushing towards the fourth.
First down for Iowa State and the freshman quarterback, Rocco Becht. He wants to throw on first down. Loads of time this time, and that is undercut and intercepted. Jaron Thompson flies in for pick number 3 of his year.
One too many hitches. A young redshirt freshman first-year quarterback, and this, well, that veteran right there sees it all. Look at his eyes. Rocco needs to throw it now. Throw it now. We saw this a couple weeks ago with an interception with Dylan Gabriel. It was just a hitch route, and you could not take a second hitch. When you're throwing that deep over, you have to anticipate. The ball does float a little bit on Rocco, but if he throws it on rhythm and on time, that's not picked off. But kudos to Jaron Thompson, and another takeaway for the Texas Longhorns.
First down run, C.J. Baxter, so explosive, and he sizzles through that hole into Verdon. It's a first down, gain of 13.
Once again, man, I'll say the name, Jatavian Sanders, the tight end, number 0, may not have all the touchdowns and the receptions from a year ago, but that fella is doing the dirty work. And in this kind of game, that meant leading up on the linebacker Gary Vaughn, just a collision.
First down throw, pitch and catch for Adonai Mitchell, and he's down at the 30-yard line, and he has been the guy to make such enormous catches. He's used to going to the college football playoffs. He has that familiarity into the playoff with the Georgia Bulldogs. And we get a whistle with Verdon down. So 13 seconds left in the third, and we go downstairs to Allison Williams.
Well, how often do we hear defensive coaches, players talk about having good eyes? That was the big thing that John Hancock was really emphasizing with his guys in the secondary, especially. He said, we have got to have good eyes. We're playing great football, but when your eyes get in the wrong place, it is a bad deal every time.
Yeah, I understand the feeling. What do you do if you're the Iowa State defense against so much play action, though?
Yeah, it's play action, and then literally those last 2 sequences of plays, when they come back to it, it was the run and then the exact same run, but the play pass off at the RPO, and that's what's so difficult for Haycock and his defense. The sequencing, the planning, he knows it. I don't think he'd have it any other way. A one-score game, when it matters the most in the fourth, let's ride.
Both these teams still can get into the Big 12 title game. Iowa State 2 losses, Texas 1 loss in the league. Off we go to the fourth.
Coach Campbell, and to start the fourth quarter here, a one-possession game, what is the biggest thing you're telling your defense right now?
Well, we got to just continue to do a great job trying to put ourselves in advantageous situations. You know, if we get them second and short, they've been really productive. We got to do a great job, put them in second and long, and then we got to do a great job getting off the field.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks so much.
Can they do it here? Ewers down the sideline, Gunnar Helm. Texas touchdown.
What did Allison say about those eyes? What did Joey Peterson say to us about our eyes?
They will lie to you.
And who makes them pay? Quinn Ewers, as it looks like they're going to go for 2 here. Gunnar Helm, a second touchdown of the season. And once again, just a sneaky, crafty play-action pass.
You were talking during the break about the sequencing from Steve Sarkisian and the way he draws these up. We have seen a masterclass on this drive. They'll go for 2 to try to make it 14. Now, this was all created by the blocked extra point that went back to the house. And it's coming this way for 2. It's Whittington. A lot of action in front of the eyes that time as well, and Texas makes it 23-9.
Boy, we have seen the value of patience on both sides today. You're going to see the route here from Gunnar Helm. He's going to come across and then ultimately go up the field. The play action, but it's his little subtle hesitation right here, Jason. It doesn't look like much. Just watch him. Look at his subtle hesitation to let the eyes clear, let the defenders clear, and then just a perfect dart from Quinn Ewers.
You know, when you were talking about this game, you mentioned that sometimes it's the supporting cast. in a situation like this.
Yep.
You see the tight end Gunnar Helm with a little mini sell job there, and now Whittington, who had the big play that doesn't really go in the scrapbook last week against TCU with the block, and now everybody dressed like Bevo is real happy.
Yeah, he's liking Steve Sarkisian's play calling because it's pretty darn good. There's a reason Nick Saban hired him and said, hey, why don't you come lead my offense? And Saban thought the world of him for years, trying to scheme against that guy. When he had him as his own, he did pretty good. Won national title and the Heisman Trophy winner. Mac Jones was pretty darn efficient. And he's found some answers in this second half. That is the quality of a veteran play caller making adjustments.
You know, at Alabama, they also had the Joe Moore award-winning offensive line. And talking to Sark earlier this year, as we discussed previously in the game, the offensive line is such a key to this program. And yes, Quinn Ewers got sacked a couple of times in the first half. He's been clean all second half.
Yep. And did a better job of stepping up into the pocket. Thought Quinn and Sark said the same, maybe a little rusty. A couple throws a week ago he wanted back, knocked off some rust. And then really, I thought after the first quarter today, the rhythm and the timing of Sark and Ewers kind of back into the fold of the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season.
So now Iowa State, how much can you run the football? They'll do it right here with Sama, who was winning a state title just last year in Des Moines at Southeast Polk High School. And there is Malik Verdon heading into the locker room after a very productive night and impact-driven night.
And Rocco Beck's got to say to himself, okay, got to flush that interception, got to play on time and rhythm. When he's been on time and rhythm on his slant routes, on his fade routes, on a little play action, been very effective, but you cannot hesitate.
Nolan motion. It's Becht on the keep, and he'll lean forward. It was Alfred Collins who got the hands on him first, the fourth-year defensive tackle, and a huge third down in this game.
But that's a little bit of patience and poise from both quarterback and his own first-time play caller in Shieldhouse. You know, it'd been real easy to do. Down 14 to just start chucking it and dropping back and letting Texas tee off. Nope. Run, get to 3rd and 2. There you see Shieldhouse. Done an excellent job just game by game getting better and more comfortable in that role.
Yeah, they've grown together. A really talented young mind in coaching. Nate Shieldhouse, former Illinois quarterback. 3rd down and 2. It is Sama, and he is met and driven back. Man, oh man, Jalen Ford stonewalled him. Checkmate.
Hey, freshman, I'm an All-American. Let me introduce myself.
That's why he carries around a card of Dick Butkus in his pocket.
I think at times, with all of his big fellas in front of him, sometimes he can be fast flow and may miss a tackle or two, but not that time.
They're going for it here. 4th down and 1. It's Becht. Pop pass over the top. Easton Dean. See ya.
Are you kidding me?
Play design artistry both ways.
Yeah, the eyes lie. How do you leave this guy? Because you're committed to stopping that run. Run on 1st, run on 2nd, run on 3rd. Give that defense something to think about, and then when they sell out, you crush them.
There's always the next offensive mind in college football.
They like to say the eye in the sky never lies. The eyes on these defenders are lying an awful lot tonight.
Make that boombox stop. We'll wake up all the neighbors till the whole block hates us and the cops will show.
Fox College Football is sponsored by Pacific Life. creating financial security for more than 150 years. 2011, #2 Oklahoma State comes in here. Quinn Sharp misses a field goal. Game goes to overtime. Jeff Woody, the game-winning touchdown, 37-31. Oklahoma State was going to go to the BCF's championship game, possibly. Instead, they take a fall here. Iowa State trying to do similar to Texas tonight.
This game kind of emblematic of Iowa State's season of just continuing to dig and dig and dig.
Just find a way. Stick around. This return for Keelan Robinson back to the touchdown.
Take a look at this, Jason. Patience has just been the theme on so many of these plays. And, well, watch the quarterback, Rocco Beck, right here. He is patient. He's going to come to the line, he's going to sail run, and then he's going to throw it over the top. And I just wonder how long this ball was in the air in slow motion right here. Isadine said, please come down. And the former high school quarterback then sees the greenest grass he's ever imagined in his life.
Yeah, look, he came here as a quarterback in 2019, and I would imagine that helps a little bit in a situation like that. You're like, okay, I got to do this for my guy.
Just landed my lap.
And it did. And here we go. Texas next possession. Quinn Ewers, Gunnar Helm once more, and he tiptoes out of bounds. Give him about 8. Matt Campbell and Texas as well both live in one-score games. Like Iowa State, that's the plan. For Texas, I don't know that the Longhorns really want to do that.
Well, it was bad in 2021 for Steve Sarkisian, but 3 of 4, Oklahoma, the only one stung this year.
C.J. Baxter, he approaches the line and hits the line hard, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Probably some conversations at halftime, too, of well, now you got a feel of it. Now you know what you're up against in the ring. Like, this is a heavyweight, and they're going to come and bring free hitters at you, and you're going to take some shots, but you look at that jersey, too. Not many clean ones on the field tonight.
No, they've punted Baxter at points tonight. First down for Texas. Ewers. Deep ball down the sideline. It's short, and Mitchell got hit by Purchase as he tried to adjust.
And Adonai's like, what do I have to do to get a touchdown tonight? One call back on a one-handed catch. An obvious pass interference early. Purchase is beat on the deep out and up. And those underthrown balls. What did Sarkisian say about Quinn Ewers this year? Have they all been perfect down the field? No. 20-plus, still about 33% an area he can grow. But he's at least giving his guys a chance. And when you underthrow that deep ball with a beat corner, you can get a 15-yarder just like that.
Second penalty only against Iowa State, and it's Baxter. And he's got 5.5. Downstairs, Allison.
You guys will see Xavier Worthy not out on the field for Texas. He did come limping off a bit ago, and I'm told he's headed into the locker room to be evaluated.
That is a massive loss for Texas.
Both sides have had so many guys go down, come off the field. We are seeing DJ Campbell back. Sanders has come back into this game. Looks like, again, a little bit of Hudson right now, but man, this has been a physical affair.
That does affect Whittington as well because it flows coverage his direction. Worthy has really, throughout his career, been the top target at Texas.
The 2 tight ends as well.
And we have a full start coming, it looks like. Timeout first. Timeout, Texas. So not the 7th penalty against the Longhorns, but they are once again locked up in a dandy with Iowa State. Welcome back to Fox College Football, sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. We will end tonight with a some-way tie for second place or first place in the Big 12. We just don't know how much carnage there will be. It depends on this ball game. Texas can be a game up on everybody for one of the 2 spots as Quinn Ewers readies to catapult, and now he throws it on a check down, and he's got C.J. Baxter for a couple of yards. And they're playing without Jonathan Brooks, who tore his ACL last week, but Baxter 7.5 yards a carry tonight.
Previous 3rd and 1 was a shot for a touchdown. Feels like this one with some big beef coming on the field. It's just go move those sticks.
All Jonathan Brooks can do right now is watch his offensive line try to plunge. Baxter and Blue both in there. They'll hand it off for Baxter, and it's a first down, Texas, with about 10 to go.
Just a bunch of eye candy, right? You get into a formation you haven't shown yet. You get a little jet sweep motion. You just want to make those guys hesitate at the second level for a beat. And you said it, man. Baxter, as this game's gone on, you felt his urgency. Like, I ain't messing around. I'm not in high school anymore, and I've got to come downhill for Steve Sarkisian.
So 98 yards replacing Jonathan Brooks. And how big is that blocked extra point for 2? Because if that doesn't happen, a Texas field goal only makes it a 7-point game. Instead here, it makes it a 2-score game. So field goal range matters for Sark. Baxter got by McLaughlin and then gets smushed by Caleb Bacon. You ever been smushed by Bacon?
That's some good stuff this morning.
Yeah,
they got good bacon in Iowa. And he's a good one that I promise you won't be a walk-on come next semester.
I mean, his scholarship offers were from very small schools, from Grandview, from Wayne State, from Waldorf, not the salad, the school. 2nd down and 8. To Texas.
Mitchell to the bottom of the field.
Baxter up top. Quinn Ewers with time to throw casually to Baxter, and he leans for what looks like a first down. It was Ben Nickel who basically came here as a walk-on as well, making the stop, but Texas drives on.
And a nice job here of just showing and going. You get in and empty, so mashing them a little bit with the run game. You come back empty versus 8 in coverage. Excellent route there. The young freshman showing you not a one-trick pony, able to catch it and run with the ball.
We should be clear, too. He has not been healthy the entire season. He was dealing with a foot injury up until the past couple of weeks. And so now Baxter closer to full strength as they will run it with Blue, and he goes down with J.R. Singleton on top of him. 2nd down and long coming up. But now Texas very willing to bleed some clock here.
Yep, that's absolutely right. Take a look at this now on every snap. It becomes the enemy of that defensive coordinator. Does not love to blitz, does not love to bring a lot of pressure, loves to make that opponent earn it.
Texas trying to stay out of 3rd and long. Ewers flips it out wide. Baxter is dumped. Submarine by Purchase.
What a tremendous job. Look at right here, man, from the neck up. Watch the cornerback process the game in front of him, see exactly what's coming, and deliver the tackle for loss.
And now you're right in field goal range, but questionable field goal range. A sack here could take you out of field goal range for Auburn, who did hit from 50 earlier. Pressure from the corner. They're going to pitch it for Blue. And Blue gets enough yardage to set up the 3. That looked like an intentional idea to make sure that you could make it a 2-score game.
Absolutely. Don't go backwards.
So now Bert Auburn, who did knock it through from 50 his long earlier, but came in with a couple of misses from between 40 and 49 this year. This one is from 42. It's from the right hash mark. Auburn drives through it. It's on the way, and it is good. He striped another one. You know, Iowa State dictated earlier that field goals would matter in this game. They took one. So Sark does that as well, and his kicker made him real happy. Number 7 Texas staying alive right now for the college football playoff. 26-16, 6 and change to go here in Ames.
I feel like this Saturday, just staying alive Saturday.
That is exactly what it is. All right, take a look at our power players, sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Was there any question? It is the Diesel. It was a batted ball early. He's eating up blockers time and again. It's a tackle for loss. It's multiple pressures. And then this is a turning point play. The blocks, PAT, the ball bounces right the way of the Longhorns.
I love that he was running down the field with it too, right? He wasn't done blocking it.
I've never seen a worse stat line.
for a player of the game?
Well, just so misrepresentative of his impact today.
We really do need better stats for defensive linemen and what they disrupt. As this comes to the near side, Higgins breaking a tackle. And he's across the 40-yard line and driving ahead to the 43.
This dude can play. He felt his presence emerge this season. 33 receptions coming in and just a career day. A little bit of physicality there. The two-handed push gets away with it. And Muhammad, the freshman, gets burned on the missed tackle.
Sama taken down after a yard. Talking about Tavondre Sweat. We chatted with him for a short while yesterday, and he mentioned that he is the youngest of 3. And we said, well, what are your brothers like? And he said they're all very small, which is just shocking. Yes. How does that happen?
Genetics.
He is such an interesting kid.
It's just the life of the party,
yes.
Man. That's the best thing about those big guys and the impact they have on the entire team.
Out to Hansen on the swing pass, and he is drilled by Anthony Hill, another freshman.
That is freshman on freshman crime. Hansen also a freshman, and they talked about Hill in camp, that this dude is just different. And this Texas team, let's say it, man, they're just different.
Yeah.
This is a violent football team that Steve Sarkisian has built.
And it's hard to pick the most violent player. Here's a kid who had 13 rushing touchdowns in high school in a year. Anthony Hill Jr. with the stand-up tackle, 3rd down and 3. Time ticking away on Iowa State. And their chances to make the Big 12 title game. Beck flowing and throwing, and he does have a 1st down. That's once again Ben Bramer.
So good on both ends. So good on Beck's end. Another 13-yard grab here from Bramer. As the rush is coming in on Beck, just watch Rocco's eyes. Look at his vision. Yep, guess who? The defensive line. There's Sorrell. There's the crew, Murphy.
There is a marker down on that play. It's way over on the far side of the field, so we'll see if this sticks. It's right in front of the Texas bench.
There are more than 4 players in the backfield in the offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
Well, we saw this pop up last week at Washington as well.
Yep, these two are both off the ball. He is on the ball. He is on the ball. He's got to be off the ball, and that guy's got to get on the ball. That is just a mistake you can't have in that moment. Got to have 7 at the line of scrimmage.
So they sent Sanders for a moment. Now he flashes back into the backfield. It's 3rd down and 8 against one of the best 3rd down defenses in the country. And there you see why. Ethan Burke went low. Byron Murphy went high for the sack.
Just watch this. You're going to see the guard there. Hufford kicks out. Poor Boniface, the center's got to feel Byron Murphy in all of that power and strength. And the Cyclones in desperation mode now on 4th and 17 going.
Yeah, big time damage on that penalty, by the way. Would have been 1st and 10 at the 37. Instead, it's 4th and 17. They have to get to the plus 47. And Texas will hurry up the clock of Rocco Beck, who throws near side, and it's Hansen trying to break a tackle. He won't do it. Texas will take over with 3:20 to go.
And I love that call by Pete Kwiatkowski. Too many times you see coordinators not risking pressure. Just saying, we'll play soft, we'll keep everybody back. They don't. They bring an extra, throw short of the sticks, and then as they've done for the majority of the night, those guys in white, they rally, they finish, and they get the stop.
Fox College football is sponsored by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And by Coke Zero Sugar. Best Coke ever. Texas Longhorns' last national title, 41-38 in the Rose Bowl. There's Vince Young celebrating his scramble down the stretch, got him the victory. Can they make it back to the college football playoff? Quinn Ewers hurt, but leading this team up by 10 as we check in with Allison with Iowa State using a timeout.
Well, guys, a week after Texas lost their top running back in Jonathan Brooks, Xavier Worthy is done for the night. He has his pads off. It looked like he was struggling to put any pressure on that left leg.
Oh, boy. I mean, you know, the question was at the beginning of the year, how deep is Texas? They didn't want to find out the answer like this. They're number 7 in the country, and with a win next week against Texas Tech, they will go, if they hold on here, they will go to the Big 12 title game. But where are they in the one-loss pack is the question, Brock.
Yep, you're not going to climb over Oregon, who was unbelievably dominant today, but look at all the other one-score games. Louisville hangs on by 1 score. Michigan hangs on by 1 score. That's a game changer. I mean, that is one in Worthy that you just can't afford to lose in the biggest moments down the stretch.
Toss for Baxter, who has been outstanding tonight. He goes head over heels. There is a marker down. How about that helmet, by the way? He's going to take some of Jack Trice Stadium home with him. That's our consolation prize.
Personal foul, hands to the face, number 58 defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, it's on Singleton.
And Matt Campbell knows for a program built on winning in the margins, these are just the plays. They've had a few of them today. The high snap, right? That's going to be called. And a bunch of these have been triggered. He hates it. He doesn't like it, and he knows the magnitude of it now.
This is an agricultural school, considering what he said last there, his feeling about the call. But look, this is a team, when they were 1-2, you didn't know if they were going to end up in a bowl game or what. Now, that said, they played Texas close here, but the Longhorns look like they're going to be too much. Timeout called by Texas. Let's compare and contrast here these one-loss teams, Brock. What's the path for the Longhorns? That's what Longhorn fans want to know right now.
Well, they're going to look up at Oregon and want Oregon to lose to Oregon State Friday night or in a Pac-12 title game, and they've got to take care of their business. And then obviously ahead of all of that is going to be Michigan, Ohio State. One of them's going to have a loss. Georgia's going to play in Alabama, right? You've got to hope in Alabama loses that one. You hope for some chaos ahead of you. But more than anything, if you're a Longhorn fan, don't you just care about winning the division, winning the Big 12? Right now, you hold on to this thing. You're going to win 10 games for the first time in the regular season since 2009.
Can I speak for Longhorn fans and tell you that I think they probably won a national championship?
Well, I'll say this.
False start, number 54 offense, 5-yard penalty, replay first down.
The most difficult pill to swallow is what I heard from our great friend Bruce Feldman last night on the set there in L.A. saying,
don't say it.
Well, if Alabama beats Georgia, I mean, it's got to be Alabama, right? And Steve Sarkisian and LonghornNation is going to say, what? Are you overserved? We went to Tuscaloosa and beat them in their building.
Some people would say it's the single best win in college football this year that Texas has. Well, C.J. Baxter just roaming, grazing all the way to the 20-yard line.
Ooh, that was smooth. This young man has just
like maple syrup,
grown before our eyes on this little outside stretch play. And give some credit to the big fellas, and I'll say it again, Jatavian Sanders doesn't show up on the stat sheet very much, other than a number of tremendous blocks. And how about 14 more on his 18th carry of the game? You know, we put up those numbers earlier of Jonathan Brooks averaging over 6 yards a carry. Look at him tonight in the lead dog role. That's a lot of playing, by the way. Mr. T, Proud of that.
Yeah. That and the sweat medallion. We are the jewelry game of the week.
Can you go back to that? Is he wearing some of his teammates, by the way?
I have to show you an aquarium here. I got to show you something splashing.
All right.
Can I do that? Our Pacific Life Game Summary, sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 150 years.
Pretty sweet, 3rd and 1 right there. You were just kind of waiting. Sarkisian was sitting on that play pass, and then Iowa State said, if you can do it, we can do it too. Right back to Eli Sanders. This is a huge play from Devontae Sweat. Just a momentum changer, right? Changing the score, changing the algorithm, changing the momentum. And Quinn Ewers, a lot better tonight. You look at the final line right now, 23 of 33, 281, a couple tuds.
There you go.
That's what a good teammate does right there. If I can't go, give me your bling.
Give me everything you got. Love it.
Yep. I think in the Rose Bowl, some of that bling got stolen, so I'm going to just wear all your bling. I'll wear it right around my neck, and we're not going to have to worry about it going anywhere.
That went a lot of directions, Brock. You had a lot in reserve there. Right into the pile. And let's see if they go for it. We'll get a timeout. You know, I watched those highlights of Quinn Ewers, and I want to mention something after this promo. Can I do that?
Yep.
All right. College football's greatest rivalry renewed with the game. 2nd-ranked Ohio State, 3rd-ranked Michigan. National championship hopes on the line. Texas will obviously be interested spectators. Big noon kickoff live from Ann Arbor at 9 a.m. Eastern. Then the Buckeyes and the Wolverines noon Eastern on Fox. You know, we're talking about the injury with Quinn Ewers, right? And his mechanics being a little out of whack, possibly. Remember what he said to us first week of the season? He mentioned in his backyard growing up, he had this trampoline and there was a net around it. And he would bounce on the trampoline and throw from all these different arm angles to get the ball over the net and out to whoever was catching the ball. He does have the ability to adjust on the fly with mechanics, and as he gets healthier, Texas gets more and more dangerous.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And I love just some of the creativity. Same thing on the trampoline playing. And then tonight, you know, we watched the first quarter, a sack, right? Just kind of standing there, and then it's a game of all. I'll buy a little time. I'll climb up into that pocket, you know, to close this season out against Texas Tech. And if they win that a Big 12 championship game, it's going to be some of that creativity. And as you said, a pretty darn elite arm when healthy that makes this offense potent.
We saw the deep ball against Alabama and how good that was in that game. It's straight up the middle, and it's going to get the first down, and that will ice it for the Texas Longhorns tonight in Ames, Iowa. A couple kneel downs. It's blue on the run. And fare thee well, Ames, says Jatavion Sanders.
This was gritty, man. This was against Matt Campbell's crew on senior night, an emotional night for Steve Sarkisian, one he's going to be very proud of. Sanders waves goodbye. He waves goodbye to a just physical affair for 60 minutes that Jason just took some fortitude, some guts. I don't care about this. Oh, is Texas back? Is Texas tough? And tonight, they answered that call.
Yeah, and I don't say this because it's emotional fault of Hufford for saying what he said for Iowa State. We love games that have emotional juice and everything, but they didn't play like a bunch of 5-stars tonight. They played like a bunch of 2-stars that wanted to get in there and mix it up. And the last game against Texas Tech will decide whether or not they get to the Big 12 title game.
And don't you think for a second that 10 wins in a season doesn't matter to that guy?
Yeah.
They've never done it. Had never gotten over that hump, Steve Sarkisian, in his time at Washington at SC here in Texas. He was brought here to win double-digit games. He was brought here to get to Big 12 championship games. And in year number 3, he's got a team of a ton of depth, a ton of fortitude, and is displayed tonight with big man in particular, a ton of force.
First time since 2009, a 10-win regular season for the Texas Longhorns. The one loss is the Oklahoma game in the waning seconds in the shadow of the Ferris wheel down there. But this Texas team looks like a possible college football playoff team They just need help to get there. They didn't get it from Washington and Oregon State tonight. 2 big games in the Pac-12 coming up next weekend. Michigan, Ohio State will have something to say as well, as Texas wins 26-16. And start with Allison Williams.
Coach Sarkisian, congratulations. You get to 10 wins. Early on, you were dealing with some self-inflicted wounds, the penalties. How did your guys overcome those to gut this one out?
Well, we settled down a little bit, and we were able to get some manageable third downs, and then obviously the 1 3rd and short we were able to hit the touchdown on. So we kind of got out of our own way a little bit. It was a little more manageable, and then we played good defense in the second half. We just gave up the 4th down, pop pass to the tight end.
On the offensive side of the ball, you were without Brooks. How did Ewers and Baxter step up and elevate their game in this offense tonight?
A lot of different guys made plays tonight. Gunnar Helm, Cedric Baxter, Jaden Blue there at the end, Xavier Worthy, A.D. Mitchell, Jordan Whittington. So just proud of all those guys making plays.
You mentioned Xavier Worthy. He wasn't able to finish this game. Do you know the extent of his injury?
I don't know. We'll find out now.
All right, thanks, Sark.
Thank you.
Sark, thank you. Allison Williams, thank you very much. He's fired up, isn't he?
Yeah, I see you dancing. We're going to dance a whole lot more in this locker room, too.
We got a lot more to say from here in Ames. Texas gets the victory, 26-16 over Iowa State. Win number 10 for Quinn Ewers, Simba Cam for Texas. We'll be back with more post-game coverage right after these messages.